In the sacred scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, it says that the mind is more fickle than the wind and even more difficult to contain. So this lecture is going to be about the mind. What is it and how can we learn to control it? Because really, the practice of yoga and the mastery of the inner world has to do with the mind. When I say the mind, I don't mean the brain. I mean something larger than that. In Shaivism, it says that universal consciousness contracts to become the mind when the mind is constructing a reality based on a perception. It's the mind that's responsible for our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, memories, perceptions, sensations. It gives us such a wide variety of experience. So I want to look today at what the nature of the mind is and the tools that we can use to control the mind, to discipline the mind, to give it a purpose in life. Most of us are at the effect of our mind. Thoughts just seemingly randomly come into our mind and we act on those thoughts. Yoga is skill in action. It's focusing the mind on one point so that it can be effective in the world. So I want to begin by talking about the cycles of the mind, so we can become aware of the habits and the patterns that we develop through our thoughts. So first, we have a thought. This thought can be a great variety, but often it's a desire. And this desire can lead to action. And this action can lead to the experience, a direct experience. And then we have a memory of that experience. And when that memory gets triggered in the future, it can stimulate and trigger another thought, which begins the same cycle of thought, desire, action, experience, memory. Now, with the practice of yoga, we can break this pattern at any point. So, for example, we have a thought that enters into our mind. We have options in terms of what do we do with that thought. We can observe the thought. We can simply notice it, let it pass through. We have the ability to change the thought, to think of something else that's maybe more uplifting or that's more on task, helping us focus on what we want to get done. We can change the thought to something positive. If it's a tremendously negative thought that we're having, we can always use the help of the mantra to change that. So we have a negative thought, we become aware of it, we notice it, we make the choice to change it, and then we exercise one of these options. So these thoughts that we have and the actions that we perform, they're all stored within our subtle body in a channel which we call the sushumna. So all of our experiences are getting stored there. And if we don't fully digest them, fully consume the experiences that we have, this creates a samskara that becomes repeated over and over and over again. And this pattern of thoughts and actions become habits, and these habits shape our character, and then our character becomes our destiny. This is our karma. So yoga is about breaking those patterns and choosing to create new patterns. I'd like to introduce you now to a practice that I have found to be very effective in bringing the mind into control. This is called pages, writing pages. I've noticed, for example, that in our self-talk, we often have a cycle of the same thought, cycling back over a period of time. Have you noticed this in your own experience? So pages helps us to break these patterns, to notice which thoughts are sort of consuming our inner reality and do something about it. So the practice consists of this. When we first wake up in the morning, we have a little notepad. We'll call it our pages notebook by the side of our bed with a pen there. And when we get up, we can maybe splash our face and be clean our teeth. But then the first thing we do in the morning is to sit down and just simply write in a stream of consciousness manner whatever is on our mind. And note those, write it down. So we don't try to be spiritual or good or have positive thoughts. We don't try to influence them in any way. We just allow what's ever fresh in our mind to be written on the pages. And some days you might not feel like writing. And that's okay. You just sit there and say, I really don't feel like writing. This is nonsense. But if you just put down what's in the mind in that moment, you find that it acts as a clearinghouse. So, and as we do this over a period of days, we begin to see the patterns that keep emerging, and we can do something about it. Maybe our mind is telling us we need to handle this particular task, or we need to let go of some limiting belief. Write it, and over a period of time, the patterns will emerge. So I encourage you to do this practice.